as a special guest, we have one of the greatest, if not the greatest defensive end in A&T history here tonight to join our podcast. I want to welcome to Inside the Valley, Chris McNeil. What's going on, Chris?
Not much, fellas. Not much, man. It's a pleasure and an honor to be on Inside the Valley. You know what I mean? I like the Blue Death. You know, I always love that. So I follow you. I keep up with you, man. So I'm a humble human being, man. It's an honor, man, to have me on and just talk football with you, especially when it's A&T, man.
All right, so Doug's gonna take over this segment because he's one of your biggest. I mean, you're like his idol. But hey, I wanted to bring you on this show too because you're one of the only guys who was playing when I was in school. So you were the same time. We didn't know each other, but trust me, I knew all about you around campus and what you were doing at football field. And when I say this is when Blue Death was known all around the country. I mean, and people don't understand just how dominant of a force you were at defensive end. Okay, let me just roll off a couple of quick stats. When you were first team All-American, and you were the Division I AA Defensive Player of the Year in 1997.
Correct.
And the reason you won that award, and I'm about to say a stat, it's not even going to sound real to most people. You had 21 and a half sacks in the 1997 season. Right. That is something that would not even be remotely broken, touched, or anything like that. So tell me all about that year and just how did that happen? How did you just dominate that impressively from the defensive end?
Well, what happened was in '96, I started out and played in the first 4 games, and then I got suspended from the NCAA because NC State stated that I transferred and I was suspended from their school. Well, you cannot transfer North Carolina public state institutions from one without the other one knowing. Wow. So there was no way I could have gotten in A&T if I was suspended from NC State. So at the time, Coach A said, you know what, man, because it was already a lot of heat he was taking for me just transferring, how I transferred and the transition, the trouble I got into NC State. And I was a dominant player while I was at NC State. So they wanted me to sit out, and I didn't. And I made the transfer and came to A&T. And thus, when I had to sit out the last 7 games, I think this was the most important thing. Coach Hayes told me, he said, just make sure you stay around the program. You know, just make sure you keep your nose clean, because I couldn't work out with the team or anything. I was suspended. So you know how this is my first year at the HBCU. So it was rough. It was rough, but I made it. I made it through '96 going around, and it made me hungrier. So that spring of '97, I got a chance to start working out with the team. That's going to my senior year, and it was just a different state of mind. It was this was my last opportunity. So from that spring all the way going into I won the award to South Carolina State, that is all I focused on was nothing but football. We had a key to the weight room. So a lot of my teammates at the time, they would go out on Thursday nights and hang out. I would go to the weight room and work out, or we would be doing push-ups or doing things like that. And I really studied the game of football. It was a way of life. That's how I carried myself. The Blue Death, like I was overdosed on Blue Death because it was just like, I got the A&T and I used to look at all the people before me. And I think that's what happens with a lot of guys now. They don't really know who played at the university before them. They have, they don't know, you know what I mean? So I remember just going through stats, reading about all the great football players, man, that just played there. And then, so I just started from that point on And you know, Coach Hayes love offensive players. That's his babies.
That's his bread and butter. So,
yeah. So I always said, I used to tell him, I said, man, you gonna love me one day. You know what I mean? Just like you love these running backs, these quarterbacks. You know, you're gonna love me one day.
Hey, real quick, who was one of those guys that inspired you that you kind of studied from before you got there?
I like Derek Thomas.
Yes.
I like Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White. Okay. I studied guys like that because at the time, NFL was pretty much a 4-3. Not a lot of teams were really, really passing like that. And which puzzles me now, I don't understand how you don't have that many sacks. And that's all they do is just pass all day. You know, it's puzzling. But so I really watched those guys play. You know, I love Derek Thomas. Like, I love him. You know what I mean? He was that dude before Von Miller, big, physical, athletic, you know, could just dominate one whole side of the field. I grew up watching Lawrence Taylor. My daddy was a Giants hater, but a Lawrence Taylor fan. He was a Redskins fan.
Okay.
But he loved Lawrence Taylor, you know. So, and then I'm a Chicago Bears fan. So, the 85 Bears, Richard Dent, Wilbur Marshall, Singletary, a lot of them, you know. That's when I first got involved. I was about 11 or 12 and started to, like, love football. So, I mean, that's what we do. I still got the tapes we used to watch in VCR back in the room, in the dorm. Like NFL's greatest defensive player, you know, tapes you used to sell on infomercial at night. Somehow somebody gave it to me. And then that's all we did was just watch it over and over. So, yeah. But that's how, you know, for the most part, 97, that's what triggered everything. And then once the season started, I had a me against the world attitude, you know, because I had a lot of people telling Coach Hayes and everybody else what I was going to turn out to be, you know what I mean? And especially at the other university. So was it safe to say that North Carolina State was not happy that you left? Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all, you know, okay. No, not at all. So, and they when it got time to get ready for the draft, that was displayed heavily by the NFL.
Oh, really? So they were putting out, you know,
do not draft this guy. Like, that's the thing that's so interesting. When you have colleagues now that are in the NFL that you either play with or at A&T, that information is archived. So you find out what they have to say about yourself as a player. And fortunate for me, Ray Rose at the time was Mark Saunders was the coach. I don't know if y'all know Mark Saunders back in the day. He was a running back coach, and then he was the coach, my defensive end coach, where he used to go up to the Eagles and do the internship every summer for the college coaches. Yeah. And him and Ray Rose became like best of friends. And that summer, when I didn't get drafted, was how I found out everything that had been said about me.
Putting salt in the game, huh? Man. Yeah. Hey, so what? Real quick, what was your playing weight and your size at defensive end?
Oh man, I was 6'2" and a half, 6'3", 225.
225. Okay. Yep. And would it be safe to say you were a speed rusher? Was that your
I am. Yeah. Okay. I mean, what they call a edge rusher.
Edge rusher, right?
That's it. That's what they call an edge rusher now.
Did you have a signature move? Did you was it just a blow by? Did you have a spin, or like what was your finishing move to get to that quarterback?
You gotta always have 3 good moves as a defensive end. I perfect 3. So automatically, I know if guys watch the film, they're gonna be like, I cannot beat this guy on this corner edge. So the very first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set him up, getting him to jump out there with speed on the outside. The minute I get him off balance, that's when the Reggie White hump comes in, right? He's off balance, big boy going this way. Now I counter back this way with a swim, straight line to the quarterback. Same thing, set him up with speed. You know, when you get him on the edge, play him half a man, bull rush. Never played a man straight down the middle. I wasn't a strong defensive end. I just knew I was quicker than it was. faster than they were, and a lot more aggressive. So I could spin back in.
That's what I remember. So I remember seeing that spin move.
Yeah.
And who was that guy that played for the Colts a couple years?
The White Freeney.
White Freeney. You had a little bit of the White Freeney in your game, didn't you? Because I remember that spin move you put on a couple guys, and that was cheating right there. Because you were already faster than these dudes, and to be that nimble, I was like, come on, man.
Yeah. So, but I think that's the key for any defensive end, to have 3 moves that you know that you can go to, and then from there you counter off those moves. So. And I could, like I said, I wasn't a big guy, so I wasn't about to let most of these guys, they were 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds. I'm not letting you put your hands on me, Try not to anyway. You're going to have to bend down, move your feet, something. No clean shots.
Well, look, let me pass the mic to Doug, because he's been chomping at the bit. I told him we was going to have a chance to get Chris McNeil, the great Chris McNeil, on the podcast.
The GOAT.
Hey, that's man, it. Like, you should see his reaction. So go ahead and take it away, Doug, because this one hits home for you, right?
Yeah. It does, man. And we definitely glad to have you on, man. You hit the nail on the head. I guess I was about 12 or 13 when I really started to understand football. And I was, a young kid, grew up around Coach Hayes, grew up around the program, but that's around the time I really could remember being around the guys and hang out in the locker room and just, the guys, the aura that some of the guys had. And you were definitely one of those guys that had that aura, commanded attention as soon as you got here. I mean, my father, he and Coach Hayes are real close. So Coach was talking about you before you got here. Fred, I got one. Wait till you see him, Fred. I got one. And so your reputation showed up as a football player way before you got here, man. And for you to show up and show out when you got here, I mean, you're definitely on my Mount Rushmore of football players at A&T. But to see a person dominate a game, I've never seen anyone dominate a football game from defensive end, let alone. We talked about the 21.5 sacks, but we didn't mention all the double teams. I mean, I know you had Shaq on the other side and some other good players, man, but it's not like they were trying to block you straight up. They chipping them, they sending 2 guys at them, and just the motor you played with. I mean, I bumped into some guys, I think it may have been App State or some guys that played against you back in the day, man, and you were the first guy they asked about. They were like, dude, y'all had that guy. He was hell. And I said, I already know what. They're like, number 9, McNeil. I said, guys, I know. He was that bad. He was that bad of a man.
And Doug, that's before they started, that's why he was number 9. And see, now it's popular. Everything old comes back around. So now all the defensive guys are wearing single digits. But there was a point where all of, you had to be like a 97 or something like that. But you were numbered. That's what stood out to me too.
If you look at the history of Coach Hayes, prior to that, no defensive lineman had ever wore a single digit. And the only reason I got that, because he tried to give me number 91 when I got there. I was like, man, I'm not wearing no number 91. You know what I mean? And Mo Smith had 43. And that was the number I had when I was at NC State. So I was like, listen, Mo can keep it. This is a fresh start. And Mo was a freshman or a sophomore in 96. Right. Yeah. So he was a freshman, I believe, in 96, because in 99 was his senior year.
Yes, sir.
96, 97, 98, 90. That's right. So he started as a true freshman in the wing tee with Bass Knight. God almighty.
Was Herb still there? Farmer? Yeah, Farmer. Was Farmer?
Remember Eric Farmer? Yeah.
Eric Farmer. I had, you know what? I had a science class at Eric Farmer. I used to cheat on his test all the time. He was a smart guy. I used to cheat on Eric Farmer's test.
Hard nose.
I came alive, man. Yeah, that was a tough dude.
I don't know if Hub was still there, but we had Hub behind Farmer.
The Hub was
Hub. Yeah, after that, right?
After that, yep.
For a little bit of time. But yeah, that's what I remember, man. You guys, and that's why I'm rocking my old school Aggie blues, my Hayes blues, man. And I know you got some great stories about Coach Hayes, man. You got to tell us what's your most memorable Coach Hayes.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Let me back up. Yeah. A story you can tell of
PG story
of Coach Hayes, or just your time at A&T, man, and just, a story you can share with us.
Yeah. I tell people this all the time, man. When Coach Hayes, I called Coach Hayes on the phone. And this is how I ended up at A&T. I went to Central to go meet with Larry Lowe. my close dude at NC State, the Lane Manley, he was a parade All-American, like ranked sixth in the nation, behind like Maurice Mevin back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember that, but anyway, so Delane left and went to Livingstone. But before he left, he said, man, I went to Central. You need to go over there and talk to Larry Little. And then he said, you need to go down to A&T and talk to Bill Hayes, right? Here go their number. So I went over to Central and talked to Larry Little. And then Larry was, it was cool. I was like, yeah, it's okay. All right, well, it's Durham and Raleigh, still kind of the same. When I got down to A&T, I went into the trailer right across next to Moore Gym. And Coach Hayes said this. He said, God told me you was going to call me. He told me, man. I knew you was going to call me. I said right then, I don't know if he's lying or telling the truth. But Coach, I'm coming to A&T. I promise you that. And then another one, man, what really made me feel good was when I won that NCAA, when I won the Buck Buchanan Award. I mean, I didn't know the magnitude of it at first. I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Slow down. So I was trying to read your bio and I messed it up. So you won the Buck Buchanan Award that same year?
You won the Buck Buchanan. Is that the picture back there over your shoulder? I think that's
that's it right there.
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's iconic right there.
Yeah. So there's only been two of us to win it from HBCU, and that's been me and Rasheem Mathis. Okay. So I didn't understand the magnitude of it. So we get to New York, Coach Hayes is standing, we get to New York, and Coach Hayes said, man, shoot. He didn't say shoot, but you know what I mean. He said, come give me one of you damn hot dogs out here. It's good, man. Come on, Chris. He had me standing downtown Manhattan, and I saw when I won the award, they had it on the billboard right there, like flashing. And he was like, man, a tear came down his face. And he didn't say much when he saw it. And he just looked at me and he said, man, this hot dog good, ain't it? It was good, And it was just, but I knew what it felt for him at the moment, Like it still overwhelmed me to the day that I won. I mean, I won this award. Man, I am when I tell you a humble individual, man, I some people with the accolades will have their head in the cloud, man. That's not me, man. You know what I mean? So, but that with Coach Hayes, those are my two most memorable stories that I could. There's been others, but I mean, God, I never worked any hard. Listen, I came from an ACC school. I have never in my life ran like a slave. That is how hard I work. And those same fundamentals and principles that I learned from being up under that man for 2 years, some of these other guys, I tell them, man, y'all had 4 years up under Coach Hayes. That's a blessing to be up under a man of that caliber. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect, but there are a lot of men that this man has molded, and I had the opportunity to be at that, we had a top 40. He had to choose his top 40 players for a banquet that he, from Winston, 20 from Winston and 20 from A&T. We had the chance to do that over in
Was that the thing last? Was that this year or last year?
That was this year.
This year with Winston-Salem State and A&T players honored him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a wonderful ceremony.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen. When I remember him telling me stories about the Timmy Newsons, the Donald Evans, the Broderick Graves, went to meet. See, that's the thing. I'm that humble to meet these guys. You know what I mean? And just like, wow, this is the start of Bill. And then to transition the Bill with the A&T crew there, you know what I mean? Man, it's just amazing, man. You know what I mean? He's done a lot for a lot of people. You know what I mean? So
let me tell you a quick story. So when I first was starting this website, Blue Death Valley, I actually was finishing up my degree, and he was the AD at Central, and I called him up. And I was like, hey, can I talk to you about your A&T career? I ended up talking to him about 5 hours in his office. He let me come down there and told me and the actual it's a 3-part interview. It's on our website right now.
Great
interview with Bill Hayes, and he talks about the start and the golden years and how he just had to go in the community and fundraise, and then he also talks about guys like you who just sold out for him, run through a wall for him, and everybody you talk to, Doug played for him, but everybody you talk to him has that same reverence, and just they love the man, like he's another father figure.
Yeah,
I mean,
hey, listen, Doug Daddy, like rap, we call him Rap.
Yeah,
I didn't know his name was Ralph until I graduated. I just knew him as Rap. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And he always came over and hung out with the Golden Room. There was so much stuff, man, his dad had to do with me that I didn't even know until later on with Coach H, because them guys went back to war. Like, I was on ESPN News for breaking in cars. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, yeah. So I was like, da-da-da. And here you bringing this to A&T, already on top of everything that behind the scenes that was going on with just football players in general. So, and then you got Coach Hayes. So it's like, man, it's dynamite, firecrackers, all that. You about to put that in one location near a furnace? Oh, man. So, but yeah, like, that's why when I see your dad all the time, I'm like, what's up, baby? You know what I mean?
He still thinks the world of you, man. He thinks the world of you, man. And that's all. That's off the field, man. That's off the field. We ain't even talking about on the field. So that's good stuff.
Hey, so Craig, you were front center. I don't know if you know this, Chris, but Craig was one of the original season ticket holders at Aggie Stadium. So he's seeing it all, man.
Oh,
so,
wow.
so give me some of your memories of watching number 9 out there terrorizing quarterbacks.
God, there's so many of them. Chris was just so dominant. It's like every Saturday was like a show. People would go to the games just to see whose head he's going to take off. I mean, I got a question for you, Chris. What was, through all your playing days, what game really stood out to you as the game that was your benchmark?
Senior day. My father was there for senior day. My family was there. And that was on the same day that actually before what's name had held the record, Kevin Little that played at A&T, I think. He had held the MEAC record like 17, and I was already at like 20 something. And that day was when I hit like 21 and a half sacks. It was on senior day. And the thing that's so ironic, I didn't get no other sacks. We played Grambling, South Carolina State. I didn't get no sacks in those games. So I did all that like in the first, we only played 11 games. So I only did so that's like Grambling took and Eddie, man, this is a smart coach. He took and rolled his quarterback one way, rolled his linebacker the other way towards me. So now I got to run around the line. And then had the running back cut Pelshak and roll out, quarterback roll out. It was, I ain't getting nothing that game. They didn't even run my way. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that game right there, Craig, stood out. It was that day, I never forget, it was kind of dim. We played Morgan State. Our field conditions weren't like the best. For it was. I think it might have rained or something the night before.
Oh, hold on a second. Are you trying to tell me that the grass at Aggie Stadium was not perfect?
Hey, listen. I know. I've heard a story where the field supposedly the sprinklers come on. And you got a great running game the night before the sprinklers come on somehow. And now it's kind of soggy. You know what I mean? I don't know how that went.
Yeah, I'm being facetious because we have a long running debate on BlueDotValley.com, the fan forum, about replacing the grass with field turf. So that was kind of an inside thing. But go ahead. So take us back to that day. You said it was a dreary, kind of a wet day.
Yeah, it was dreary, and it was just we beat Morgan State, but it was just that day I never forget it because like my father was there. You know, I don't know, and my father didn't get a chance to like watch me play a lot of high school ball because he was locked up in prison.
Wow.
But he listened to me play high school ball on the radio. I played at Thomasville, and he was some AM radio station while he was in Black Mountain, was playing my game, by God's grace, was playing my games. So he got a chance to get out, see me play at NC State, go through all of that, and then see me transition and become the man I had become. And that day right there for me was like, I'll never forget that game. Like the second game, that I always say this, that tops that was Circuit City Classic, who was on BET, and we played against Tennessee State. And when I tell you that game was so lit, I have never. Now, mind you, I'm coming from the ACC. I've been down to Doak Campbell at Florida State, 70,000, played in the Peach Bowl, all of that. That to see, it was probably Craig. 70, would you say 70,000+ black folks at that game?
Yeah, it was packed. It was packed.
I don't know. It's been like that since, man.
Well, listen,
and the game matched it. The game matched it.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game.
They had Butterfield. They had
people don't remember.
They had a squad, bro.
Yeah, Leon was the quarterback.
Leon was the quarterback.
Yeah. They had a bunch of guys.
I don't know if Avion Black, but yeah, those guys played in the league. They had a bunch of guys in the league that went to the league off their team. And even that 99 team, they were still, oh man, it was.
I know Avion Black was on the 99 team because he ran one back against us in the playoffs. Yeah, I remember Avion Black's name.
So he would have been a freshman or a sophomore.
Okay.
In 97.
And Chris,
but Butterfield was getting on, yeah.
Chris, people don't remember that Circuit City Classic because I don't know if they still do it on that level now. But that was the Celebration Bowl Bayou Classic all in one. I mean, that was nothing like the Circuit City Classic back then. That was incredible.
Yeah, and then it was just crazy. And the thing about it was, they gave defensive player of the game to somebody else. I had like 4 sacks, some crazy game. I went unconscious, and Coach Hayes started laughing. He said, "They got you, didn't they?" I said, "Man, it don't even matter. I know I was the best player out here anyway. It don't even matter who they gave it to." You know what I'm saying? But it was crazy, man. That game, I've never played in any game ever on that magnitude. The bands were off the chain. The sideline was packed with like black A-list celebrities. You know, like, mind you, I'm coming from NC State. To like, it's totally like, I'm like, oh my God. And I missed all of this my junior year because I didn't get to play them in the first 4 games. You know what I mean? That was like Central, Winston, Fayetteville State, and then we played Hampton. And that was it. And I only had like 10.5 sacks for those 4 games. So this was my senior year.
He only had
10
in 4 games.
Golly.
Yeah. So.
Hey, listen, did you play any, because we got a big game this weekend against Kennesaw State. Did you play any triple option teams?
Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give us your perspective, man. What are our guys? What does the 2021 Blue Def have to do to match up, against the triple option?
I heard Craig talk about this, but the biggest thing, those defensive ends, they got to play on the other side of the ball. Like you got to crash down. It's either going to be one or two things. You either going to wrong arm it, and when we talk about wrong arming it, if I'm the defensive end, and let's say I'm on the left side of the defense, and they're pulling guards, instead of me coming in and forcing everything inside, I'm going to turn and wrong arm it. And when you turn and wrong arm it, you got to go down there. And what stops them is when you go get you a crazy defensive end that'll run down in there and dive full speed at them guards' ankles, you know what I'm saying, that's pulling around there and wrong arm it, that'll slow it up. But they got to, and what happens is it now spills. Everything spills outside. You got your linebackers right there. You got your cornerbacks right there. You should have your safety field in the alley. If you sit back and read you can't. You can't. Your
Right.
guys got to be penetrating right now. Those tackles got to follow those guards. Trust what they believe. Those ends got to penetrate, and they got to force everything to spill outside. If you try to run on that thing coming in, and they start turning up in what we call that C gap up in there. Now you got that locomotive running up in there, that tackle. Sometimes they might be pulling a tackle and guard on the backside, running the counter with a fullback running up in there. No linebacker is gonna stand a chance. If running up in there to stop that. So now he got an alley.
Now, did you have to deal with cut blocks at the defensive end position?
Yeah.
So how do you talk about that? How does a defensive end avoid a team that's going for his legs and you trying to still get upfield? What you do?
Hey, listen. I mean, you got to be quick on your feet. I got a picture where a guy at Hampton tried to cut me, a running back, and I dove over him and sacked. I had to post the picture and dove over him and sacked the quarterback. Those running back tried to cut me. When you see it, you gotta either get up, get over it, but you can't wait. You gotta dictate. You know what I'm saying? Because it's actually gonna be coming at you so fast. So you either, you know what I'm saying, when that ball snap, you know they're coming. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get there, get down, put your hands down. You know what I'm saying? If guards pulling on the backside, you gotta step up in there. You can't wait. If you do that, you're gonna lose the ball game on this. You know what I'm saying? Because they're probably too technically sound. They've been doing this, like I heard Craig say this forever. It's old school football.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is we got a lot of new school football players on our team.
Yeah. So have you been following the team this year? You been checking out any of the games?
Yeah, I have.
All right. So look here, man. I'm gonna give you a dose of truth serum. I want you to take it and give me your true, honest feedback here. So our secondary has, we've struggled last couple games, especially last week. Man, what can we do from the cornerback position and the safeties? What can they do to kind of improve on the fly and make a difference this week? So
have you counted the amount of seconds they got to throw?
Well, that's what Coach said. Coach said that the best pass defense is a pass rush. So you saying
they have none? We have 10 sacks in 5 games
total. Not one player like you did. The whole roster.
Total.
Right. Okay.
We have no pressure. I don't see a sense of urgency. Like when we played Blue Death, we was like the Black College Miami. We rallied to the ball. I remember before the game, we walked through Howard homecoming. They were out there. Ted White was out there stretching. I walked through his homecoming, got a flag before the game, and told him I'm gonna kill you today. We was that relentless. Like
Blue Death. Hey, Doug, Blue Death.
And I don't see it. I don't see them like rallying. I don't see nobody thirsty, hungry. Like I'm talking about hungry. Like Lee Varian was hungry. All them boys, not all them boys. That group, them boys was savages. Skibo. All them boys was, man, they were dogs. Straight up dogs. They didn't care. You know what I mean? My year, Coach Hayes would do things like take the offense when they wasn't doing what they're supposed to do, because the ones didn't practice. All we did was stretch and run, individual, and then we sat over and watched the pups do everything else. So Coach Hayes would say, all right, that's how y'all want to play? You better pick it up, goddammit. You better pick it up. Ones against ones. And that's all we did to hear. And it was turned on. It didn't matter. From that point on, boy, it was on. It was like he let dogs loose. So they don't have that. I don't see it. And we got all the great athletes. It ain't got nothing to do with skill at all. We got all the great athletes. We got all the great facilities. We shouldn't have been in the situation we was in last week. When you're down that much and team, that's all they got to do is pass and start doing that. You should pin your ears back as a defensive end, and it should be blood in the water. As a defensive, blood in the water. They shouldn't have that much time. you know. So that's what we were working at when we were good, when Darryl Johnson and all them boys was here. You know what I'm saying? They had some rush. You know what I mean? They had, you know what I mean? He might not have got to the quarterback all the time, but he disrupted the timing, and we don't have that. So this week, now we got to go from last week defending the pass to this week. You know, you can't think and you can't be scared. So, you know, that's what I would tell the defensive end. You know, one of y'all need to go in here when that guard come around here. Y'all need to hit him so hard in his mouth that you try to break his jaw, and you'll stop that coach from running that play. You have to dictate that.
So we got to set the tone. Basically, we got to set the tone early, and I mean,
punch him in the mouth.
Punch him in the mouth.
But hey, this is gonna be an old school fight. This ain't gonna be no spread. No, that's what they want you to do. You know what I mean? Come out there and spread it around, do that, and they gonna control the ball, control the time, get your defense to start thinking, got you back on your heels, and before you know it, that fullback gonna run straight up the middle down the field, 50 yards untouched.
Well, you know, I talked to Coach Washington. I went to a press conference this week, and I think he knows what he needs to do. I mean, this ain't his first rodeo. He's seen it all, and he takes matchups like this as kind of a personal challenge, you know, because he kind of got what you got, and that's that self-confidence, you know, and he ain't gonna let nobody just get the one up on him. You know, he got a little chip on his shoulder too. Yeah. So I think he's gonna have these boys right, man. And was it 5:00 Saturday in Kennesaw? And it's gonna be their homecoming. They got like a little bandbox stadium, about 8,000 people. And so I think right now, like everything's sold out. There might be some standing room only seats somewhere. You might get some stuff off, you know, the black, you know, third market you know, third party websites, whatever. But it's gonna be packed. It's gonna be crazy. But before we talk, you know, I just want to go back to one thing you said, because you said, you know, you had some difficulties early on in your playing career at North Carolina State, run a little bit afoul of the law, and seems like your childhood, you know, was, you know, not silver spoons. You had some things you had to deal with, but look at you today. You went full 180. Can you just talk about, you know, what you're doing now and just that whole growth and development and how that's kind of
definitely. For one, the one thing I'm most proud of, I don't know if you see my shirt, I got this on. I started my own organization.
Okay.
NCU Football Academy.
Okay.
I named my organization, our mascot, Blue Collar Aggies.
Okay. Like that.
So I started it back in 2020, November 2020. Prior to that, I had been dealing with a guy. We went to school together. NC State helped him get his nonprofit off. I got into youth sports, and then it was an opportunity for me to do my own thing, my own vision. You know what I mean? Because you know, it's like I'm the Hall of Famer. I'm, you know, really helping your organization, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My wife kept saying, you know, hey, it's time to do your own thing. So I started that organization November 2020. I say Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I work. I'm an IT consultant, so I do a lot of networking.
Okay.
MPLS, putting communications for companies together. I do that 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. From 6 to 9, I do NCU Football Academy. You know, and that's done right now. It's Tuesdays, Thursdays, on the weekend, Saturday. But you know, when school was out, it was Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then Saturdays. So this year I got a 5-year-old team, a 6-year-old team, they're both flagged, a 9-year-old tackle team, and I got a 11 and under tackle team. So it's about 20 kids on each team, you know, except the tackle. The flag is about 10 apiece. So, you know, that's my baby. That's what I'm proud of. You know, and my ultimate goal is to take the academy. That's why I named it the NCU Football Academy, and put that in Raleigh, put that in Greenville, Asheville, and make it an organization where it's really about football. And when I say football, I'm not talking about just the pigskin football. Ultimately, we want to transition into the Hispanic form of football because ultimately that's the next direction, the wave in which a lot of sports is going here in America.
You talking about soccer?
So soccer, that's correct.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, you about to go global on us then, huh?
Yeah. So
So where you based at now?
Charlotte.
So you're in Charlotte now. Okay, I got you. Oh, that's awesome. So I might have to get you a website or something. I might have to hook you up with some marketing stuff, man. You know, get you a little was it NCU.com website going on?
No, if you go on and Google
you already got
right
one.
now,
okay,
you can pull up. You know, NC is www.ncyfa.com.
Okay,
I got Instagram, Facebook.
Oh, you already got it. Okay, I gotta check it out here.
Where we up and rolling, man. So, but yeah, for my first year, you know, like I said, man, I'm just I remember Coach Hayes telling me before I left, and I had an opportunity. I was coaching, and he said, "I don't care what you do, son, but you football, you old football, and you got to find a way to give back." And I never forget that. And that's how he was talking to me. He said, "Now, go on and take that job and go on to Atlanta. I can't pay you that much. Go on, take that job and go on to Atlanta." And I was working in sports management then, you know, with NFL, NBA athletes. And one of my colleagues from A&T, he got it. We both got like a first round draft pick, 9th pick overall, Corn Robinson. And we started working like that. And just from there, and then I got when I got down to Atlanta, I was just like, my colleague Jay Reed, I don't know if you know him, Doug, but
hey, I had class with Jay Reed. Jay Reed was without a doubt the coolest cat.
So Jay Reed, okay. So when I say Jay Reed, everybody knows Jay Reed. Okay, All right. So Jay Reed's working for the city of Atlanta. I go in there and just happened to, he was like, "Man, they got a job for a park director." And didn't know what I was applying for. Just applied for it, became a park director for the city of Atlanta, and that's how I got involved into like youth sports. Building my own football fields, grants, a whole lot of stuff like that. And so to make that long story short, all that background has come full circle, you know, to allow me to do my own thing. So ultimately that's the direction I'm headed.
Hey man, that's great stuff, man. I wish more guys had the opportunity to see you play, man. I know there's not a lot of A&T clips out there, but that same Georgia Tech game, I think you were talking about, there's some clips of that game on the internet on YouTube. You know, I'm a film junkie, Thriller, so you know, at some point, I think I stumbled across some Chris McNeil film, man. I might have been Googling, and I think your motor was even evident then, man. I don't know what year you were, if you was a freshman, sophomore, what, man, but you just see this guy flying around the field, making plays, man, getting his hat on the ball. And I mean, it was no doubt about your talent, man, but the motor, I think, and just the want to and the effort. That's what I remember, the effort you put out, man. And that's what you said about our guys, man. Like, I don't know if it's easy for everybody else to manufacture that type of effort, man, but I believe that's what it takes, man. And that's kind of what I learned from you guys, man, just hanging around you guys. And I try to model how I play football exactly how you guys played it, man. So I appreciate you guys, like you said, passing the legacy down and being an example so that, you know, we can pass it on to the next generation.
But Doug, why? I asked myself this. When I worked in sports management, I had an opportunity to go to a lot of the big universities to recruit these players, you know. The one thing I know is contagious in Alabama is the philosophy is the same. The players may change, but the philosophy is the same. No matter who it is that comes in, the same effort, the same tempo, the same scheme, it's the same. That's, you know, the high level. And that's what we gotta get back to. I mean, I think we're a great offense. I think, you know, we got plenty of talent. You know, to me personally, out of all the running backs we've had outside of Maurice Hicks, I like Jermaine.
Okay.
I mean, I like him. You know what I mean? I do. He reminds me of Marshawn Lynch.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what he reminds me, you know. So, I just think that that our identity has to remain that same. It has to be ingrained in our kids' foreheads when they come in. When they go in, they see the tradition and their legacy they should see the legacy of Blue Death, the meaning of Blue Death, you know, and what it means to be a part of Blue Death. You know, you go through and you see all the great. I went to Ohio State and seen all the Archie Griffins. Man, I just wowed at how they honor and when you come in as a freshman, you see that. It's the same, so it motivates you. You know what I mean? Because these guys were once where you were. And I don't think our guys really see that. Thus, they're creating their own identity when it's an identity that was already established long ago.
Hey,
70s.
Chris, did you stay at Cooper when you were at
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember now this? I know this happened. Was there ever a time where they had a sign on the side of Cooper that said "Home of Blue Death Defense"? Was that? They might have came after you. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember. Okay. That might have been Doug, though.
No,
man. We were trying to. We trying to lay low.
No, that was a sign that said "Blue Death Defense" on the side of Cooper Hall. I'm gonna find the player who remembers that.
That might have been the exit sign, man. That might have been the messed up exit sign that broke the door.
Hey, as no telling, man. That's what I'm saying. We all, that whole first floor, second floor was all Aggie football. You know what I mean? So who knows? Somebody wrote it. Somebody put it out there. So you probably didn't walk on that first floor, second floor unless you was either coming in there with one of us or.
Yeah. No. I stayed across the street at Scott Hall. I knew, you don't cross over there, unless it's about that life.
Yeah.
So I stayed in Scott B, and I was just chilling. I did my thing, but that was kind of off. That was out of the realm for the regular guys.
We had the tree of knowledge. It's still out there.
Tree of knowledge, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about some of your accomplishments and your accolades and your awards and all, but one thing we didn't mention was last year, 2020, you received a great honor, and you were inducted into the MEAC Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Let's just go and tell me what that was like. You just even receiving the call or notification that you were going to be included. How did that feel?
Man, listen, let me show you how life's so funny, right? So y'all got me here laughing, dying. I got a baby sister. Doug, you might have seen her at my Hall of Fame when she was God rest her soul. She was diagnosed, she was going through cancer at the time. So the day I found out I was getting inducted into the MEAC Hall of Fame, it was probably November of 2019. I was in her room at Charlotte Memorial, and she was able to hear them call me and tell me that over the phone. And then she didn't make it through. She passed away December 1st. Sorry. And then I ended up getting inducted in March of 20. You know what I mean? So it's like when I heard that, it's twofold of meaning for me. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. You know what I mean? Because I started looking at all the great players that played at A&T. And then I started looking at how many of them actually are in the MEAC Hall of Fame. And I'm like, whoo. I want to say it was like, I counted them, was like, prior to me, like 20. And that's including basketball, football, baseball. And it's a real small number. And, like I said, I've achieved a lot in life, man. But that's forever to be in that conference. Hall of Fame, like, for one, to be inducted in the A&T Sports Hall of Fame is an honor. You know, I was like, okay, that's all right, that's cool. You know, I'm good. But then when they said, hey, we're going to induct you into the MEAC Hall of Fame, like, this is the same conference with, like, Deacon Jones. Man, just the list just goes. Robert Porche, just, Ragsdale, Allen Hooker, Elvin, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is that conference. FAMU, just all the greats. And now you are a part of that. You are a part of a smaller club, you know, but it's an exclusive.
The elite.
And it felt good. Like when Demetrius Harrison got inducted last year, me and Demetrius is cool. You know what I mean? When Demetrius got inducted last year, man, he was right there for my induction. Came up. And when he got inducted, I couldn't go to his because of COVID. You know what I mean? He was doing some virtual. Yeah. Mine's happened right in the middle of it. They did our ceremony that morning, and then the rest of that day, they said they shut down everything. COVID shut everything down in March of 2020.
That was during the tournament. That was during the tournament. That's right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, man, listen, to go from where to be to from where I grew up, and I thank God every day. I wouldn't change it for the world. It made me who I am. You know what I mean? I tell people the best crime I ever committed was breaking into cars at NC State because it allowed me to come to NCAA and be who I am. If it had not have been for that night in February, I would not be an Aggie. You know what I mean? And I say this because I got a lot of guys I played ball with at NC State. They're not as well off in life as I am. Wow. And a lot of my teammates that went to that school, they're not like a lot of my Aggie teammates, like the Darryl Clues of the world. Like,
yes, sir.
Craig Thompson stuff. You follow Brad Holmes.
Yeah.
Like that's my like Brad was in my room. Get out my refrigerator, dude. You know what I mean? You a pup, you know what I mean? But he was a pup playing with me. Now he's the GM for the Detroit Lions. You know what I mean? That's my they're not like how we are in life. I'm grateful for it. If I had never went to the HBCU, I'd probably be looking for a handout like the rest of them, looking for somebody. Still, when I say handout, I'm talking about no vision of self, still working for someone else. You know what I mean? No guidance, And when I got to A&T, man, we didn't have none of I went from having, steaks and all this stuff on Tuesdays and all this cafeteria and everything to just the calf and get how you live free. You get a bottle up as much as you can. You better take what you can take back from the calf. That's it. You know what I mean?
Now, Chris, tell them, y'all didn't have a field house? Well, I guess y'all had Strickland. How did y'all, at halftime, what did y'all do?
We had on the visitor side, we went in right there in that locker room right there.
Underneath. The visitor team had to go to the tent, but there was a visitor locker room. It was a locker room that the team would use down there, kind of a satellite locker room. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Y'all didn't have lights. Y'all didn't have lights until after you left.
Yeah. We practiced even in dark. To run, you didn't need to have lights. Coach A would bring his truck and turn the lights on. All the coaches, and they'll put their car on the field and turn the lights on.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, like I never knew what a fifth, a jingle jangle
was. Jingle jangle?
No, man. Oh, man. I thought
run them lines.
Man, run them lines. This man kicked the water. I know we record this. NCAA forgive us. I love it. This man, it was 96 when I first got there. And Coach A, it was probably my second practice. So I had to wait because I couldn't, everybody else had went through the first three or something before they could put my equipment on. So I had to have like helmet and, couldn't put shoulder pads on, just kind of go through conditioning. Coach Hayes went and kicked all the water coolers over out there. It's like 100 degrees. We doing 2 days. And I'm like, yo, man, you ain't seen nothing yet. That's all they said. You ain't seen nothing yet. And when I tell you, man, that man worked us to death. But that's what allows me right now to be the person I am in life. And that's what keeps me going. Because I tell myself, man, if you can go through all of that, everything you went through, if you can push through all of that, man, it's easy. It's easy, right?
I just wanted to say, man, again, man, congratulations on the MEAC honor. I think it's just thinking about it again, man. You're talking about a handful of games. You named all those guys that were MAC greats. I can't name anybody else that did it in a handful of games. And like you said, we can take away the Grambling and the South Carolina State game. Basically a season worth of games, man, to do what you did. That was amazing, man. That's amazing. Yeah. So hats off to you, man.
Thank you.
Let me reiterate, man, 21 and a half sacks. Because people, you hear that number and it don't even sound real, you know?
And that's not a lifetime achievement award making it to the it's not what you did after that. It's what you did on the field in the blue and gold that they had to honor, man. You know, some of those guys, I feel like, they had successful careers down the line and it may have been, what they did in the long run. But again, man, just that handful of games, never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Only 15. That's 15 it. Games.